Let's talk about age verification laws and the debate around whether or not they're effective and what I recommend that's actually effective. My name is Kelley. I'm an advocate for child safety. I work in the realm of combating child trafficking and exploitation. I do a lot of undercover work with law enforcement to varying degrees. I also work with tech experts and cybersecurity specialists to solve these very solvable problems in the digital realm when it comes to protecting children and their innocence. So let's get into it. Age verification laws, in a nutshell, are requiring the individual websites, specifically the ones that self-identify as adult content websites, to require that the website visitor verifies their age by uploading a government ID to then be allowed access to that adult content. Now, here's the major flaws with that. Beyond how ironic it is that we're asking these websites to police themselves, we're also asking the users to submit their private information and distribute it all over the internet in the sites they wish to visit, which any expert will tell you is a major data security nightmare when it comes to phishing and scams and all kinds of reasons. You don't want to upload a government ID with sensitive information, especially to suggestive adult websites. I could really unpack this further, but just to itemize the list of reasons I don't think age verification laws make any sense. Number one, let's talk about what the real problem really is. Let's first correct the premise. The premise is that we're trying to protect children from accessing adult content. So I am wholeheartedly behind that idea, but let's talk about the facts. Did you know that, for example, Google Images has the largest online collection of adult content on the internet, larger than P-Hub and every other thing that gets a lot of slack? So point one, we're only asking these websites that identify as adult content sites to police themselves. But what about Google Images? What about Meta and TikTok and Twitter and all the other biggest offenders of said content, as well as child sex abuse material? Per NCMEC's 2023 report, it was not the porn sites. It was actually Meta, Google, Twitter, and TikTok. Number two issue is that these age verification requirements are severely easy to bypass with something as simple as a VPN. Virtual private networks can basically hide your real location and make it look like your online location is in any city or state that you select. So within 5 minutes, anyone can access a VPN, and they have a lot of free softwares available, most of which are sketchy in and of themselves and can actually open you to all kinds of other data security risks. Because when you give the VPN your information, now they have all your information and they follow you around the website. That can cause all kinds of problems. Also, a lot of kids are aware that VPNs exist, and if we're essentially encouraging their use by restricting content, unless you tell the website that you're from some other state where that content is allowed, now we're opening up these people to all kinds of vulnerabilities in the dark web. I'm not just making this up, by the way. In every state that Pornhub has pulled out of due to these age verification laws, you can see that VPN searches have spiked. So we're actually just increasing the usage of unsafe internet usage. And also, it doesn't seem that the website traffic of these adult content sites like Pornhub has actually decreased since these age verification laws. So I rest my case. These are ineffective band-aids. The other thing is that this patchwork state by state does not seem consistent. The World Wide Web is borderless, so for us to implement age verification laws at the state level does not make any sense. And again, we're not even targeting the real issue. We're definitely not protecting children from seeing inappropriate things online, especially when we're not asking the actual worst offenders, Meta, Google, TikTok, Twitter, to police themselves. We're only asking the porn sites. Now, let me say this first. Child exploitation is not a simple problem to solve. It's not a one-size-fits-all problem. Therefore, there is not a one-size-fits-all solution. So any solution that I do champion is generally a layer of solutions, meaning one of many things we should implement or another safeguard that would actually be helpful instead of a band-aid, but nothing is necessarily a comprehensive solution in and of itself. So again, when you see politicians signing papers and taking pictures and be like, yay, we're protecting children, first of all, we're just putting band-aids on things that aren't the real problems, but we're also not looking at things holistically, so we're unable to really solve these problems. I'm not here for the photo ops, I'm here for the actual real talk, because guess what? These are actually solvable problems, and if we, the people, wanted to solve them, we need to first be aware of what the problems really are, what the solutions are, as well as the amount of band-aids that are being thrown around, because those don't help anybody, but they make a lot of noise and actually distract us from the real problems and the solutions. What I and many nonprofits around the world think is a much better alternative to the state-by-state age verification laws is device-based age verification. Imagine, if you will, that when you purchase a new electronic device, device, by default, it is locked down to child safety content. Meaning, when you buy the new device and then you set it up, just like we do with our Apple ID and everything our phone knows about us, the user can then prove to the device on the device level, if you are an adult with your payment information and government ID, etc., your device can then validate whether or not you are eligible to unlock adult content if you so wish. But by default, every device should be locked down into child safety safeguards. Why would we not do that? Maybe because it's less profitable for the people championing these band-aid solutions? Wrong answers only. With this solution, your age would be verified on the device level instead of by the individual website. So we're no longer giving the power to these sometimes sketchy websites to decide what information they want from us and know a lot of things about us and then track us all over the web, especially if people want to visit sketchy sites. The reason I think this is better is because it's more comprehensive. It protects kids across all the internet, all their devices, gaming and live streaming and social media and all the different things that they encounter online while preserving user privacy. So both adults that are free to enjoy adult things as well as protecting everybody's privacy, because we should not be uploading our government ID to random websites across the internet. That's just not a good idea for anybody. Device-based age verification also sets a universal standard. We the people, our politicians and legislators, and these tech companies need to all agree we don't want children exposed to things that are inappropriate and potentially harmful for them, correct? So let's lock down the devices by default. And if someone wants to unlock it in order to access adult content, they can prove at the device level that they are eligible to access adult content. This is much harder to work around. You couldn't use a VPN to get around this type of system if implemented correctly. So there's actually a global push for device-based age verification. Over 100 nonprofits globally are asking for this to be mandatory, and I'm with them. I see this as a more valid solution, especially compared to age verification laws, which I've looked into extensively. They don't work. Straight up, you can see that the porn sites that have pulled out of the states that have implemented these laws, their website traffic has not been affected and VPN searches have surged. So we're not even solving problems, much less protecting children. But the politicians look very pretty on paper, and if we all keep falling for that, we'll keep running in circles without actually making change. That's not what we're here to do, guys. Guess what else? Tech companies already have the capabilities to implement this. This is not a difficult thing to build, much less to implement. It does require public awareness, because I have this funny idea that if we the people were aware of the real problems and the real solutions, we could essentially vote with our dollars and make enough noise, because this has to be a profit-driven incentive in order for tech companies to take this seriously and start taking action. Said more specifically, if they wanted to, they already would have. But unless we the people start becoming aware of the real problems and solution, and that takes patience and education for people to really unpack all the layers, because there's a lot of confusion out there. There's not a lot of people giving real talk about what's really going on out here. So if we the people became aware, we could incentivize them by affecting at least a percentage of their profits, and then they would probably notice and start paying attention and doing the right thing. I'm here to play dumb and smile and wave until we get this done, because my ultimate job is to protect children. I'm here for this mission, regardless of people's bias, whatever obstacles may be holding people back from actually taking this seriously. You can see that I have a very sarcastic sense of humor, because I really can't take any of this seriously. I see this as a very intentional problem. The reason I call it intentional is because there's a lot of ways we could be solving and actually protecting children, especially in the digital realm. However, this effort is something we the people can really get behind. So I'm calling on all parents and families, I'm calling on lawmakers and legislators and the elected officials within your community to be aware of this and to support the legislation that pushes for device-based age verification. I wrote a whole article about this with links to all the sources that I've cited on digitaldefendersunited.org. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about age verification laws versus device-based age verification, or is there a better alternative? Because I'm open to ideas. Let's talk about it though.